Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Good morning to you. If I look half asleep, it's because I am. I've not been up long, but had to jump on because reports coming out from Fabrizio Romano that Newcastle are set to sign their first player for the upcoming transfer window. That's right, Antonio Cordero, the 18-year-old starlet from Malaga. We're going to talk a little bit about him in this video. If you've not heard the name before, I'll tell you a little bit about him. Look, I'm not an expert on this guy, I promise you that, but I have heard his name before, mostly because we were talking about him about 2 or 3 months ago. And it was reported 2 or 3 months ago that he'd been on Tyneside, that Paul Mitchell had given him a tour of Newcastle. He was trying to persuade him to come to the Toon instead of Real Madrid or Barcelona. Well, if reports this morning are true, and look, it's Fabrizio Romano, it's quite a lot of people this morning. If the reports are true, Newcastle have beaten some pretty big teams to bring him over to us as well. And just, if you're wondering, yes, he is a left winger because we don't have enough of them. I think you can play on both sides, but we needed another one. So we'll get onto that in this video. But I want to start off with Eddie Howe. I've not really had a chance to talk about Eddie Howe yet. Obviously unwell and in hospital, so my get well messages go out to Eddie Howe family and hope he's going to be okay. In fact, Jason Tindall is doing the press conference this morning, and in a few hours' time, by the time this video comes out, it may well have done it already, but ahead of our game against Crystal Palace tomorrow. But yeah, the rumours or the thoughts were that Eddie had a bug and would hopefully be back very soon. And next thing you know, it's reported that he's got pneumonia and he's been in hospital. He's missed one game. I think they said he's gonna miss at least 2 more. So he's gonna miss the Palace game Saturday. He's gonna miss the Aston Villa game. And fingers crossed he's feeling better. It's a bit of a shock, and it's not someone like Eddie Howe to get ill because he's always so much on the front foot, such a workaholic. But as Jason Tindall said, what a way to get the lads pumped for a game. Go out there and do it for Eddie Howe. And we absolutely did that against Manchester United. We absolutely tonked them. Really good. Give them a good show. And, it's landed us in a pretty good spot. We're talking about top 5, talking about Champions League. I think a lot of people are we're certainly in a great position. And we've got our game in hand tomorrow night. Well, we've got to go and get the job done again. As I say, Jason Tindall doing the press conference this morning, and then it's Crystal Palace tomorrow night. Isn't it strange that I'm actually more fearful of a Crystal Palace game than I am Manchester United, because they are just in such poor form at the moment. But yeah, it's always nice to beat them. And the first time we've beaten them back-to-back in a season, Manchester United, since the 1930s. I mean, I love this cup now as well, by the way. This is my Wembley mug that I got 2 years ago when we played Manchester United when they beat us. And I always felt a little bit daft having it on a video. But now that we've won there, I'm allowed to have it every time. But yes, so we've beaten Manchester United. We've now got Crystal Palace, and we're sitting in a great spot. Chelsea drawing. Manchester City 2-0 down against Palace, and that's the thing. Palace are a good side. I think we'll have to be on top form. I think he likes it. Eze, Saw, I think Munez at the back, or Morata up front. I'll tell you what, I can probably name more Crystal Palace players than I can name Manchester United ones, because I just think, as I say, they're so poor at the moment. And then it's Villa at the weekend. I was listening to a podcast the other day about teams that we're battling with for those Champions League spots. Forest lost, but they are challenging in the FA Cup. Man City are in the FA Cup. Aston Villa, I mean, they're still in European football, but I'm sure they're in the FA Cup as well. A lot of the teams around us have still got cups to play for, whereas Newcastle United, we've already got ours. We've already walked in, take job done, and now it's full concentration on the Premier League. We've got a game in hand tomorrow night that, if we win, puts us within, is it a point of, oh God, is it 3 points of second or something like? And it's top 5 this season for Champions League football. So I think because we've won the cup, we've technically guaranteed European football in the Conference League. It kind of gives us what is hopefully, let's go out and play for fun. And if we can be in a spot where we actually have Champions League a few games before the end of the season, where we can actually just enjoy it and not feel the pressures, when the other teams are like, oh God, we've got an FA Cup semi-final, we've got a European game, and then we've got to go and play Newcastle or play somebody else. We've found ourselves just in a spot, and we know that Eddie Howe's sides, hopefully, for the end of the season, it's a Jason Tyndall side by the sounds of it. Obviously, I've no doubt Eddie Howe will be sitting with his big wide screen in the hospital shouting at Jason down the phone or getting Graham Jones to do something. But yes, we normally finish strong. Let's hope we do. And then obviously, we've talked about this before. I hope people are wanting to see a big transfer window for Newcastle this season. We've done very little over the last few, and the signs are already there that we are pushing for that big summer. Obviously, one of the important things is to have Champions League. From a self point of view, who doesn't want Champions League? Who doesn't want to be in the biggest European competition in the world? But having that Conference League, I was almost starting to romanticise it. We're going to go to some far-flung countries and play against teams but in reality of Newcastle and where we want to be, and the money side of it and the player side of it is, if you want to keep Isaac and Bruno and Tonali, it's giving them Champions League. If you want to sign, the likes of Mbuemo, who's constantly spoken about, if you want to sign the likes of Acuna from Wolves, reports off out of the Daily Mail that he's our top target for as much as 60 million this summer. If you want to sign the likes of Howe from Bournemouth, who's being targeted by Liverpool, Chelsea, it's Champions League, and as I say, as much as I was starting to romanticise the idea of going to some places that maybe never would have thought of, really, for the club, the players, it's having Champions League, and it's, getting ahead of the likes of Barcelona or Real Madrid to sign an 18-year-old future star in the Antonio Cordero. So as I say, don't know loads about this guy, but what I do know is he's already played close to 50 times for Malaga at the age of just 18. He actually scored a goal for them, was it last season or the season before, which they were down in the third tier for the first time in 70 years, and he scored an extra time goal to take them back up to the second tier. So already this morning I've seen Malaga fans saying, he gave me one of the best moments of my life. I wish him the very best of luck. And as I've mentioned already, Paul Mitchell reported 2-3 months ago was showing him around Tyneside of what he could join. And I still think Newcastle are just in that sweet spot at the minute, just in that sweet spot. I spoke about this a few weeks ago with likes of Lewis Miley and, John Anderson had said, well, we should loan Miley. And I was like, no, I appreciate what he's saying because you want to give players time. And, you look at this Antonio Cordero kind of looking from the outside in going, will I get my opportunity at Barcelona, Real Madrid? And looking at Newcastle and going, well, look, they've got an 17, 18-year-old kid who's playing, and they've obviously got some young lads from the academy are making their way in. So I think it's a bit of both. I think it's Newcastle being clever. It's him wanting to get his chance. You look at likes of a Perez who came from Tenerife, wasn't it? And he got his chance at the young age and grew with Newcastle. And then for us, it's playing smart. I hope we have those big names that I mentioned, Cunha, Hoyson, and Buemo's a name that's probably going to rattle around for the whole of the summer. Whether we actually get them or not is a different story. But we play on the smart side as well. Yes, it'll be great to go and spend some big money this summer that we haven't really done. But bringing players in who are going to elevate probably our youth side to start. I doubt we would come in and start playing. I mean, as I say, we've got Barnes, Gordon. We obviously need another left winger. Can't play both sides, but that's what they said about Barnes as well. But yeah, talented youngster. And if he makes it in Newcastle, fantastic. If he doesn't, and no, I'm not here to jinx the poor lad's future, but his contract ends. This is a free transfer. This is us just signing a contract with a youngster coming in with no cost. And appreciate that obviously the Yankuba Minter one was one that fans didn't like because we spent 7 million on him. We wanted to see him have a go in a black and white shirt. But we did, then we ended up selling him for 35. But that's something that Newcastle need to start kind of getting into now, building a youth setup, having young lads coming through, hopefully making it into the team. And if they don't, typically of late, a lot of the youngsters who go are going to like Gateshead, Hartlepool, League Two sides, and that's nothing on them. Football's a tough place to be. If anyone could do it, we would all be doing it. It's not easy, and they'll probably go and still have nice careers for themselves in the lower leagues. But you look at Man City, selling Cole Palmer at Chelsea for 70 million or whatever. Like, that's where we want to try and push to. Obviously, it's infrastructure, it's training grounds, and it is picking up, 18-year-old Corderos from Spain to have a go and see what we can make of them. So it's exciting. As I say, I think the reports are, it's taken a little while to get it done, and I think that makes sense, seeing as we were linked with them at the start of the year and really heard nothing till now. But it's a nice wake-up, as I say, ahead of a big game tomorrow night against Palace, and, fingers crossed. I think this is just the start. The last few weeks we're hearing about transfers. We've still got games to play. The season's not over. Just wait until the summer actually begins. I'm hoping we're going to get plenty done this summer. Right, okay, time to get ready and go to work. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on Cordero down in the comments below. And I'll see you tomorrow night for the Palace game as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.